Welcome to Euroforum UG, where we address Ugandans from Europe, USA, Asia, Africa, Australia, and all over the globe. We share experiences, opinions, and expertise on current affairs, educative lifestyle, religion, and family matters. Follow, subscribe, and like our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Euroforum UG. You can also join our live shows every weekend on our social media platforms. For more information, visit our social media platforms or email us at euroforumug@gmail.com or WhatsApp us on +4740 574040. Euroforum UG, communicating with peers. Welcome to Euroforum UG, where we address Ugandans from Europe, USA, Asia, Africa, Australia, and all over the globe. We share experiences, opinions, and expertise on current affairs, educative lifestyle, religion, and family matters. Follow, subscribe, and like our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Euroforum UG. You can also join our live shows every weekend on our social media platforms. For more information, visit our social media platforms or email us at euroforumug@gmail.com or WhatsApp us on +4740 574040. Euroforum UG, communicating with peers.
I greet you all. Moses Mugisha is my name. Living here in Oslo, Norway. Today we take another stride into serving you. This is a Euroforum, your platform where we communicate with peers. Today is the fifth last Sunday of the year. We are so amazed and delighted to have served you throughout this whole year. We are coming back with the second episode of Kenneth Muyingo's story. 2 weeks back, we were here with Kenneth Muyingo, where he shared a very inspiring, touching, but also awakening story. The life in Uganda. He's currently living in Netherlands, and we are looking forward to yet another amazing conversation with him. Today is the 1st of December here in Norway and many other Christian countries. It's the first Sunday of Advent. We shall have several other Sundays before Christmas. And to many Christian countries, this is a very important Sunday, ushering in the Christmas season. Also this week, on the 28th, that was on Thursday, our brothers and sisters in America celebrated the Thanksgiving. And that's also a celebration that originated from celebrating the autumn harvest, and that is and that's a tradition anyway. But it's a celebration that is carried on to this day. Families meet and have good time. We want to congratulate you, our brothers and sisters in America, for that moment, family time you had. I welcome you back from the week. So much has happened, a lot to be thankful for, and there is also so much to that wasn't so comfortable. For those who lost loved ones, we want to grieve with you and send our condolences to you. There were also so many out there who have had celebrations, milestones, and so much to be thankful for. We also send out our greetings and smiles to you out there. Euroforum, we are back again, and we want to use this 1.5 hours to speak to someone out there. Hopefully, Kenneth Muyingo's story will inspire confidence in an immigrant out there, will awaken ability in someone who has felt it cannot happen, it's not possible. I think I've reached the dead end. I want to invite you to send out this link to any immigrant out there. It might be an immigrant already here, or it might be someone planning to travel to come in the diaspora. There is something always to learn. We learn from our experiences, but also from the experience of others. This might be the time to have a U-turn in someone's life. Your input might be to just share out this link and someone gets inspired. Or without further ado, I want to invite Kenneth Muyingo to say hello to you. For those of you who watched the previous show, I know you're familiar with this ever smartly dressed gentleman. So, Kenneth.
Yes, my brother.
Yes, someone was challenging me.
Yeah.
Whether you really can speak Luganda. And I told him, he should be in position to speak Luganda. This time, greater viewers in Uganda, but the way he saw you flowing in English, you couldn't believe that you can as well speak Luganda.
Basebo ne banyabo tusanyusa okubanga tuzemu okusisinkana nammwe ku mulundi guno nate kya mukisa nnyo okuba nti nsobodde okuddamu n'empitibwa ku mukutu guno. Nze okufuna invitation ey'okubiri kyekindaga nti kiri kimu ku bibiri nti either kye nakola ku mulundi guli kyali kirungi ne bampita nziremu ngezeeko oba nakola bubi bampaddeyo omukisa omulala ntereeze. Ngenda kunoonyereza ndabe naye nga ntwala omukisa guno okubeebaza mwenna gye musisinkanye okubanga muconnectinze naffe. Nsinzidde wano Budaaki mu kibuga bakiyita Leiden, amaka gange we gali. Ntwala omukisa guno nange okubalamusaako n'okubeebaza emirimu gyonna gye mukola. Nja kusanyuka bwe naategeera nawe gy'osinzidde okutulaba mu bubaka bw'onaateeka ku mukutu guno w'otulabira. Tubuulire naawe osinzidde ludda wa, nga tugenda mu maaso oba olina ekibuuzo oba ky'oyagala okwongerako oba okuwabula, osobola okukiteekako ku mukutu ne tuba nga tugenda mu maaso. Back to you, Moses.
Yes, Muyingo. Yeah. For those of you who are questioning whether or not he can speak Luganda, I don't want to add a word. So, Muyingo, tusanyusa okulaba. To you, our dear viewers, we shall run this show mainly in English. But the fact that we come from Uganda, there might be a few elements where we shall dose in some bit of Luganda, just to speak from the heart. So we welcome you back again. Also invite your attention. In case you want to interact with us, feel free to drop a comment. It might be also sharing an experience. Could be living in Netherlands as well. And you would also love to share from personal experience. But also feel comfortable and don't be shy to disagree in case you feel there is something you need to ground very well. We are here to learn from us, the two of us, but from you as well, the viewer. And we shall be so privileged to leave this show having learned or unlearned a couple of things. So otherwise, to you who watched the previous show, sorry, who didn't watch the previous show, Kenneth Muyingo currently lives in Netherlands. He has lived in Uganda for a long period of time. He has had a story that is, like I said, both inspiring, awakening, but also leaving you with nuggets of knowledge. So it was very long, but of course worth our time that we couldn't take it in one piece. So we agreed that we would take another episode. Here we are now, back to serve you. Kenneth, where we ended last time, I remember I rewatched our show after our conversation here, and I realized that on several occasions you kept saying that never let anyone write your story.
Yeah.
And that kind of didn't settle well with me, because I've seen, I don't think Martin Luther King wrote his story.
Yeah.
And Mandela, I think not all stories, his stories were written by him.
Yeah.
So, but I said now that I'm having you back again, I would just love to know what you really meant
Yeah.
by this. Should everyone write a book? Open up to me this.
Good question. Thank you so much for bringing this up. And I really like the examples you've brought, Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela. I believe personally that every life that is worth living is worth documenting. There are things that you have learned out of experience, out of the skills that you have acquired. Some might have even been passed on to you by the generations that came before us, but you have this knowledge. And if you do not document it, when the world no longer has you in the physical form, we are going to miss that forever. I want you to think about Moses. You know people in Uganda who are they are experts in making natural medicine or medicine out of plants. Yeah. And there's families that have been doing this. And I'm not talking about witchcraft. I'm talking about people who actually make plant medicine. That they just so that we are clear that there are people who have these things in their families, that their recipes they have, that you go and tell your grandmother, I have a headache. And she walks with you in the compound and takes 2 leaves. And she tells you to just chew on them. And within seconds, the headache is gone.
Yeah.
But then your grandmother passes away without ever documenting that knowledge.
Okay.
It's lost
That's
forever.
perspective.
It's lost forever. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I get your point.
So that's why I say every life that is worth living is worth documenting. There are things that you know that are worth documenting. There are people who don't know what you know. And the only way they are ever going to know is if they can pick up a book about what you have acquired. And that is the only way. Sometimes we don't realize or we don't put enough value on our own experiences because they're ours. We are like, yeah, whatever. And then we put so much value in other people's experiences. But our own, we don't value them. So I want you to look at your life in that sense. If you have done what Martin Luther King has done, someone else will come and interview you to write your book for you. If you have done what Mandela has done, if you have played at the level of Nelson Mandela, then don't write the book yourself. Someone will come and interview you to write your book for you. But if you have not done what Mandela has done, you may have to pick up the pen and write your own story.
Okay, I get. I get your context of the statement. So if I get you well, the documentation might not necessarily have to be publishing a book, but you could document it somewhere. Am I right about that?
Yes. Now this is the thing. We as Africans or Ugandans, let me just use that specifically. We are storytellers naturally, but we are not readers. For me, this is something I had to teach myself. When I finished with university, I was like, this is the end of me reading. Because I thought reading was just a burden that I had to bear. But when I understood that actually the man who will not read and the man who cannot read have no difference, I changed my mindset about reading. I realized that there's information out there. And this experience, the first realization of it was when I picked up that book that I spoke about last time we were together, The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. I was like, how come nobody ever told me about these things? I read the book from cover to cover 3 times. Like I read the book, I get to the end, and then I go back and start to read again 3 times.
And that was, what was the whole motive of reading it 3 times?
Because it spoke to me so deeply, I wanted to understand it at a personal level. Because it's one thing, see, this is the thing, like when somebody says, there's books that I've read even more than 10 times now. I'll give you one example. It's called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. It's an amazing book about self-image. And the powerful thing about reading a book the second time is this, Moses. When you read a book the first time, you're going to discover some new information that you didn't have.
Yeah, that's
but true. Then when you read it a second time, there is something that you're going to see in that book that you didn't see the first time. When a book is so rich with knowledge, when you read it for the first time, you get some information from it. But because there's so much in it, you only get what you are capable of receiving at that level. But when you go back to that same book, there are books that you just can't read once and get the value out of it. That you have to be going back to the book again and again and again. And so when we are talking about this, I mean, I really want to encourage someone. Sometimes when people talk about writing books, they think they overcomplicate the process because they don't know what they have to do. You can write a book in 30 days and publish it yourself.
And actually that exactly leads me to my other curiosity. Yeah. As I've understood, you are an author of 3 books.
Yes.
And the latest one is one that ties in well with writing a personal book or writing a book.
Yes.
And according to you, 30 days.
Yeah.
I know there could be someone out there who would really love to take the same line.
Yeah.
Writing this story or writing a book.
Yeah.
Speaking of 30 days, it doesn't seem practical to me anyway, but guide me on that.
I really like that you say this, that it doesn't seem practical to you. Because when you think about it in your mind, it's just out of the experience that you've had. But let me just break it down for you. With technology right now, it's easier now more than ever to write a book. That once you have an idea and you say, I'm going to write a memoir, for example, like a book about my experience. That is one of because most of the research you have to do, you are the expert.
You're the source.
You're the source. You're the final authority. When you're writing about you, someone cannot come and say they are an expert on Moses Mugisha. They would be a fraud. Not at all. They are fraud. You understand? They cannot. No one can come and say that they know you like you know you. So when you say, for example, you want to write a book about you, you sit down and you make an outline. And let me just give it to you like it. You make an outline. You say, okay, what am I going to write in this book? I'm going to put about my growing up. In this book, I'm going to write about my education. In this book, now you have 2 chapters already. My growing up, my education, my family, you already have 3 chapters. Another one you can say, my first career opportunities. You can write the challenges I've experienced, the lessons I learned. And if you want to write about your travel experiences, the exposure you've had. And you already have like 8 chapters there, just in those things. And then you just structure it in a way. You're already the expert on you. And then you get clear on why you're writing the book. Who do you want to communicate with? If it is that the purpose of the book is to just share information for your family, to be able to have a reference about who this great man who was in their family did and was, and you're clear that it's about leaving a legacy, that you're writing this for your family, you write it differently. If the goal is to inspire people to make the most out of their life, then you write it differently. Then you have to include personal lessons. You have to include relatable experiences. If you're writing to the general community, you have to put experiences that are relatable, yeah, to other people. And after you've got clear on all of this, you get through the first draft. Now, all of these things that I'm telling you about getting the outline,
So, okay,
you can
now
do that in an hour, literally.
yeah, sure.
And once you're clear with the outline, then you get to the preparation of the first draft. Yeah, you get all the ideas from you to the paper. And now there's many ways that you can do that. I'll give you one example. There's what we call speech to text. Yeah, we are having a conversation here, but if I want to write a book about this experience, I don't need to do anything with it. What I just do is I take this recording.
So if I could interject a bit,
Yeah.
so now all this is under outline. Okay?
Yes, you've outlined it. Yes.
You're outlining.
Yeah. Now, when you're finished with the outline, then you start to create the first draft of the book. Yeah.
Okay. Now
And
that you've outlined all you need to be under the contents of the book.
Exactly. Now you're going to create the first draft. What you do is you use speech to text. You don't, when people think about writing, most cases they think that you have to go and type one word for word.
Of course, literally, when you say writing a book,
exactly.
What else would I think about?
Exactly. But now that is where the mindset shift comes in. Yeah. That I can sit down with a camera or just even my phone, and I switch on the camera and I say, Chapter 1, growing up. I was born and raised in Uganda. I'm one of 4 children. My mother was a stay-at-home mom. My father worked in the coffee industry. We're from a generation of coffee farmers. My father was part of East Mengo and my grandfather and all of this and this and this. And then you just put all of this down. You're just recording yourself. After you finish to do your speaking, if you make a mistake, don't stop. Just keep going. Because this is what gets people stuck. The goal is to make progress, not to be perfect.
Now we are speaking of an ordinary video.
You're just making an ordinary video. It doesn't have to be anything. So you're recording everything. After you finish to record it, save. Now, there's software online that you can take this video, this link, the video, I can just either upload the video itself or I can upload it on YouTube as unlisted. If you upload a video on YouTube as unlisted, only the person with the link can see that video. It's not public. Then you take the link of the video on YouTube and then you put it in this software and you ask the software to transcribe that video for you.
Okay.
And then you have all the text. You understand what I mean?
I get you.
So this is what I'm telling you, that it's possible.
Okay, now I'm
looking at in 30 days.
I'm trying to relate to the 30 days.
Exactly. Okay. Now you can do 4 chapters in a day. And these days that I'm talking about is not 8 hours a day. Because you have to work, you have to take care of your family. I'm talking about 2 hours. You can just use 2 hours and you sit down and you make 4 videos. Because if you're talking about, for example, where you went to school, you don't need to go and research that. You know your information. And this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. There's people who have knowledge that they themselves, because they have it, they undermine it. And unless and until we get to that place that we value what we have, we will not do anything with it.
Mhm.
I don't
So,
know. I don't know who
mm,
is watching us today, but you need to hear this. I don't know if the conversation was scheduled to go in this direction, but I don't believe in coincidences. There's someone who is listening to us and they needed to hear this. So once you're finished with the drafts, the first draft of everything, all the chapters, you've made the videos and transcribed them. Then you get into the editing. You can do the editing yourself if you have the time, or you can hire a freelancer for even as cheap as $5. Yeah? You, you either do the work or you let money do the work for you. There's people in China who are willing to do this on freelance platforms. You give them the file and they edit it for you. They take all this script for you and they transform it into chapters of a book that is understandable, and they format it. And once it's formatted, you design a book cover. You can still use that same platform, the freelance platform, or you can use Canva if you're artistic and you can design. There's a platform called canva.com where
yeah.
you can literally design your own book cover. And once you have a book cover and you have the transcript of your book, you go to Amazon KDP and then you self-publish. And then you are a published author.
Okay, let me know. Okay, as I understand, this book is the whole motive to start with was to document your story.
Yeah.
Okay, but as well, the fact that you can publish it, you can commercialize the whole idea. So, but to commercialize a book, at least I know there is that phase of because the editing is done by okay, say the freelancer, or the proofreading in this context.
Yeah.
Yes. Would you need any other phase of proofreading beyond that of a freelancer or any professional proofreader of your choice?
So true proofreading is two types.
Okay.
You need to get a proofreader. You can also get a proofreader on a freelance basis. Yeah. You can use the same freelance platforms to get a proofreader and they go through the text for you. So normally the people who do the proofreading do the final edit as well. But normally what I recommend is after you have got the file back from the proofreader, you have to read it again yourself.
Yeah, sure.
Because it is your book, and to just be sure that what you intended to say is what they communicated.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then you proofread it yourself and then get it published.
Thank you, Kenneth. You watching us trying to dig into the whole idea of writing your own story. Kenneth is an author of now 3 books. And one of them is one that speaks to the world about his story. And I sharing tips on how someone can write a book in 30 days. You already have a book or a guideline on how someone can write a book in 30 days. Where can someone find that book?
So the book is on Amazon, and you can, I think you have the link. I sent it to you. It's Become an Author and Write Your First Book in 30 Days. And if you just click on Amazon, you can get yourself a copy. And if you need further support as far as getting this done, you can reach out and we can have a conversation about it. I would like to hear, because I believe every life lived is worth documenting. And you have something that is worthy of being put into a document. And sometimes it helps us to also draw the lessons out of our own experiences. Because if one of my mentors told it to me like this: the book that most changes your life is the one you write yourself. The book that most changes your life is the one you write yourself.
I mean, what does
That's the experience that I had when I wrote Opening Up.
Okay. I'm trying to relate. The book that changes your life the most is the one you've written yourself.
Yeah,
Um, open up this because I realize that there might be so much out there
yeah,
that has changed many people's lives, and they have no idea of how
yeah.
to write a book. Open up to this. I mean, open up more on this.
No, I mean, what happens most cases when you're going through the process of writing a book, you're going to realize things about yourself, most especially if it's a book about your own experience.
Mm,
There are things that you're going to discover in a way that you wouldn't have discovered otherwise. And for me, that's the experience I had when I was writing Opening Up. I'll just backtrack a bit. When I first got the idea of writing that book, I was in detention. When the idea first came to me, I was sitting down in my cell and I'm like, I have 2 years of my life that I cannot account for. I was in this procedure of migration. I came here with dreams. And now I am here sitting in a prison, not because I committed a crime, but because I am illegal. Is this what life is all about? And I was like, I need to make sense of what happened. I have 2 years that I cannot account for. And as if by divine inspiration, the idea just dropped in my head. If you write a book, you will see that it was not wasted.
mm, mm.
And so that's where I started talking about it. I said, I'm going to write this book. I'm going to write this book. And then 3 years went, and 4 years, and 5 years. And then I started to write the book 5 years later. And when I did, I was at a point that I was now not accounting for 2 years, but now I was trying to make sense of 5 years because I came here in the Netherlands for the first time when I was 25. And I published this book when I was 30. And I was like, I have to make sense of what happened. And in just writing and going back through this experience to some of it was very cathartic. I think the word is healing. It's like you go back to your own experience and you derive the lesson out of what you went through and you make peace with it. What happens in most cases, Moses, is that people are hostages of their own past.
Yeah, I
They
agree.
go through an experience, and this experience is supposed to just teach you something, because what I understood about life is that they say experience is the best teacher. Yeah? You might have heard it said like that.
Which actually, to me, it's kind of discussable. Yes, go ahead.
But when I was in school, the teachers that taught me best gave me the lessons first and then the test or the exam later. Life is the exact opposite. You get the exam first and then you learn the lesson later.
Mm,
And based on this lesson that you have learned, you get another exam. And then you learn a new lesson. And that is how we progress in life. But what happens sometimes is that life presents an exam and we refuse to learn the lesson. And how that looks like, the year before looks like the year that is, and the year that is previous looks like the year that is previous, and the year that is previous looks like the year that is previous. They have 10 years of their life that are just looking like the same. They're stuck. Yeah? Because there's something life was trying to teach them and they have refused to learn the lesson. And you cannot trespass in life.
Just to chip in a bit, speaking exactly about life lessons and how different people have managed to learn from their experiences. You've had a life in Uganda. You had Kenneth too, who lived that first phase in the Netherlands. And then Kenneth that we see now. How are your experiences in that window, that tunnel?
Yeah.
When you came to the Netherlands, went into custody or detention, and now you're here speaking to us, changing lives. But this is the product we see. But how has that experience impacted your life today?
Good question. I mean, everything that has happened in my life to this point has had a part to play in me being here. That is why I own my experience. I tell my story, and I don't tell my story because I want people to feel sorry for me or to feel like, hey, oh, this guy went through a struggle. No, it's my experience. I own it because I've realized that out of this, there's things that I've learned. There's experiences that life has gifted me. But more than just gifting me these experiences, I was willing to pay attention and learn what life was trying to teach me. And we learn in part 5 ways. Let me just digress a bit. One of the ways that we learn is by reading books. So you get a good book about something that you don't know, and you read the book, and then you get that knowledge. Another way that we learn is by observation. You can see someone doing something that you don't know how to do, and you can learn how to do it. Another way is by other people's experiences. That someone can go through an experience that is painful. And because they've gone through that experience, they draw the lessons out of that experience. And they can share the lesson that they have learned out of a painful experience so that you don't have to go through the painful experience yourself. And one of my mentors told it to me like this: learn from other people's experiences. It's cheaper that way. And so even me, myself, I became willing to share my own experiences so that other people can learn from my experiences, because not everyone has the privilege of having been put in an immigration detention center. I call it a privilege because I came face to face with myself in that detention center in a way that I don't think I would have. Yeah. And I learned some things about myself and life that are still helping me today. That if anyone can pay attention and listen, it may be helpful for them as well. And the other way that we learn is by mentorship. That you give someone permission to speak into your life. And normally we do this with our money. But sometimes people like to beg for what they need and buy what they want. We'll get into that later. But working with a mentor or a coach, for me, this is one of the things that has been really helpful for me, to actually give people permission to speak into my life. And I give them permission with my money. I say, hey, I need help here. And I allow them to speak into my life. And when you pay attention. Because sometimes people are not willing to, I don't hear
Kenneth, the fact that we want to listen to this story with both ears, or even the third one, we need to understand some of these. You're a man who's so inclined to so many amazing phrases that we don't want to pretend that we understand everything. You said people beg, okay, for what they need, okay,
yeah.
And then
they buy what they want.
They buy what they want.
Yeah.
What do you mean by this?
Thank you for the question. Most cases, you might find someone with 20 pairs of shoes. Yeah. But then you find them in the shopping mall buying another pair of shoes. Do they need that pair of shoes?
Maybe.
No, they want it. They don't need it. They want it. Yeah. But you might find that this same person is actually dealing with childhood trauma. Yeah. That is even affecting how they show up in the workplace. They're dealing with childhood trauma that is affecting how they show up in their relationship. And they need to work with a coach to help them overcome these obstacles. And they want the coach to do it for free. So they need the help to get to the next level of their life. They will go and buy another pair of shoes that they want, but the change that needs to help them get to the next level, they want to get it for free. So that's what I mean when I say people like to beg for what they need and buy what they want. I hope it's clear.
It is. Okay, generally people, there is a particular segment of people you've observed do this the most.
Yes.
Which ones are those?
It's most especially actually my people.
Right.
I'll be honest with you, when I work with people in other nationalities, from other different diaspora communities, I work a lot with Nigerians. And when they realize the value that you bring, they appreciate it and they are willing to invest in it. When I'm working with Ugandans, they want me to do it for free. But the challenge with this, it's right here. Let me just say it. I mean, we're just being open here. Let me just say it like it is. When you pay attention and you get results. But when you get something for free, you don't value it. So you don't even do anything with it. You see what we did at the beginning of the broadcast? I just literally gave away my entire blueprint on how to write a book. I charge people for this. But do you know what? I know that they will not use it because they got it for free.
No, don't assume that way.
No, I'm telling you this, I know from experience. No, Moses.
Okay, at least I'll use it.
Moses, today is the 1st of December, 2024. In the next year, I want a Ugandan to reach out and say, I listened to that broadcast and I wrote my book following the instructions that Kenneth gave. And here it is. I'll come and tell you that I was wrong. But okay. What happens is this. If someone pays attention, if someone pays, someone can come and I say, hey, I need to write a book. And I say, okay, you need to write a book. I'm willing to help you. But in order for you to compensate for my time, you're going to have to make an investment. And just to make it simple, I can even say 300 euros. That's your investment in this. And if they're willing to make that investment, I will hold them by the hand and help them write that book in 30 days. Yeah? In 30 days. And it will get done. Because when they have paid the 300 euros and I tell them, go and make a video today, they will pay attention and they will actually make the video.
Kenneth, I really understand the whole context here is people don't usually value charity. When things are for free, usually people don't, and I personally have an experience on this. We have a group of Africans, or generally immigrants, because it's a blend of so many nationalities, where we train football every Sunday. Yeah. There's a sport where we train outside, and it's free of charge. And during the winter, we book a spot indoors, and usually pay.
Yeah.
And the session is 1.5 hours.
Yeah.
And you always crack jokes about this, how much we respect the time indoors, because we've invested money and we attach value to it. So I really understand. But Could we put a bet on this when you say that at the end of 2025 you want a Ugandan to come out and say that I listened on your stream or live session and I wrote a book? Can we put a bet on this when one comes?
Moses, the problem that I was telling you about, I said write a book in 30 days. Today is the first. Today is the 1st of December.
Yeah.
If a Ugandan can reach out on the 1st of January and say, boom,
what happens?
I did it to myself. I will ask you to come and do a broadcast, and I will say I was wrong.
Okay, we leave it at that. I want to thank you all, our dear viewers. I see Matters of Love, Smoggy. This must be my brother Smoggy Jonrem in Denmark. Yeah, he was commending you. Where he said we are humbled, learn from your experience and wisdom. Our OB, St. Joseph's Nagarama. And I also add that, okay, I think where you were narrating how someone can write a book in 30 days using AI. So he added that, and with technology evolution of this, with technological evolution of this era of AI, speech to text is paramount. Idris Akedo Hoffman says, I'm here, I'm listening. Smoggy adds, so Wana Moses, when will you write a book about your St. Kalemba and Katikam SDA experiences?
Now the question is back to you.
Back to me. I might be that Ugandan who will bring you back here on the 1st of, okay, it might not be the 1st, but the 1st week of January.
Yeah.
And narrate my story. And I'll be very glad to see what my gift will be from you. But anyway, I get your point, and as much as I'm trying to pull your leg. Thank you, Kenneth, and to you watching us, I want to thank you all, and I invite you to share on this link to someone, or invite someone to come and join us on this live session. Like Kenneth said, we learn in the bigger picture, of course, from my personal experiences, but also from other people's experiences. Kenneth has had a story, but I think one catch point that was very remarkable in the first episode was when he was in detention and how he rebounded to the man we see here. We are yet to hear more of that in our next session. Also to remind you that we are currently live on YouTube and Facebook, and clips of this video will be shared on TikTok, our platform. And with this, we want to invite you and request you to please subscribe to our channels, follow our pages, and always tune in. Every Sunday, we have a show around this time. And every first and second Wednesday of the month, we have a children's show tied to parenthood and child upbringing. But with this, we shall have a short break. Stay tuned, and we shall be coming back with the last session of this conversation.
New end-of-year party dinner dance in Oslo, Norway. Join us for the unforgettable night of celebration at Oslo Vineyard Hall, Rofwick Strokes, Bay 15B, 0484, Oslo, on 7th of December 2024, starting at 6 p.m. till 3 a.m. Featuring DJ Deep and entertained by Habi Kauma. Interest fee for adults is 300 krona and ages 13 to 18, 200 krona, and those under 13 years of age enter for free. Don't miss out on the night filled with music, dance, dinner, and joy. For inquiries, contact Ntongo on 938-643-47 and Mugisha on 405-740-40. This event is proudly brought to you by Uganda Cranes Norway.
It was one time.
Yeah, to you, our brothers and sisters living in Norway and neighboring countries, we want to invite you this Saturday to join us for the end of your party. to be in the center of Oslo. So this is a party that unites Ugandans and friends of Uganda and all other nationalities around. And I'm also giving you a very formal verbal invitation, Kenneth Muyingo. Sebo, we shall be waiting for you to join us during that party. But otherwise, it's very open to all. Kenneth?
Yes, please.
Segment, we want to tap into the Kenneth that people in the Netherlands know to some extent, but to open him up now. Kenneth, what do you work with?
Professionally, I work with Booking.com in the field of innovation. And I've been working with Booking.com coming to 8 years now. That's what I do professionally. Besides that, I am doing some other things within the community. I'm the public relations officer for the Ugandan Community in the Netherlands. And I am one of the directors of the Uganda Netherlands Business Convention. I'm also an entrepreneur. I do speaking and coaching and write books and just helping people do that as well. And now recently into digital marketing as well. So that's what I do.
Thank you. Speak to me about your journey to Booking.com.
Yeah.
Your professional journey or your working journey.
Yeah.
When you finally felt or knew that you're there to stay in the Netherlands.
Yeah, so when I came back 2014, I'm excited about the future and the opportunities, but then I realized, okay, I want to apply myself. It turned out that the experience I had having worked in Uganda briefly and my experience as far as that was concerned was not enough. Everywhere you went, they were like, do you have work experience in the Netherlands? Have you worked here before? Because all the work that I had done until that point was just either on voluntary basis or just helping out. So I didn't have any work experience as far as that was concerned. And I thought to myself, what's the best way or the quickest way for me to get work experience? I said, if I can get some experience on paper in the Netherlands, then that will be enough. So I went to a hotel nearby here in the city where I live. And I said, I'm looking for a job. And they said, okay, what kind of job are you looking for? I said, just give me any job that you have here because I just need to do something. And they said, can you leave us with your phone number so that we can get back to you when we have something? I said, I have my CV right here. So I gave them my CV and they said, oh, this is even better. 20 minutes later, when I had left the hotel, they called me back and they said, would you be available for a meeting with the manager of housekeeping? I said, yes, please. So I go back to the hotel and then she says, the only job that we have right now is in housekeeping. Are you able to do that? I said, I will. I'm able to do it. Then she asked me, do you have work experience? I said, yes, I live in my house and it's clean. You can, if you need proof, I can ask you to call my wife. And the woman just looked at me and laughed. And she said, okay, when can you start? I said, tomorrow. And then I started to work there. I think I did that for about 9 months. And for me, the purpose of it was to just gain experience. And after I'd got that experience on my CV that I'd actually worked in the Netherlands legally, when an opportunity came up for me to apply for a job at Booking, I took it on with open arms. And when I applied, I went through the interview process. It was challenging, but I learned a lot from it. And I was given a position. I started out in customer service. But gradually, I was able to apply my prior experience, and then I went into innovation. And basically, that's the journey.
Thank you. Any challenges along the way? Because it sounded so smooth.
Yeah, there are challenges with it because the fact that I am Ugandan, this company is international and they are very multicultural. We work with people from different backgrounds. So there's challenges within communication. For example, if you're within an international setting, at one point there was over 80 nationalities within my office alone. 80 nationalities. On the team, we had like 15 nationalities, a team of 16 people, and you have 15 nationalities. And I was the only Ugandan or even African for that matter. So you get to understand communication in a way that, because you may make a joke and you think you are being funny, but if people don't laugh, then you may get in trouble. And then things like that. So, and then the fact that it's a Fortune 500 company, it is the speed at which things change is accelerated. You get into the office and what you did yesterday, you have to do it completely different the following day. You have to be a quick learner. You have to be able to think on your feet. You have to be adaptable and flexible and to be able to show up and do the work. And so this one, we can get into a whole complete session about this, but I think we can just pack it there for now.
Thank you so much. And then on the flip of the coin, any lessons learned? Okay, yes, of course the challenges, but any particular sports where you feel that things went as exactly planned?
And I beg your pardon, what was the question?
Any particular sports where you felt or you felt that things have gone as exactly you planned them or you wish them to be?
Yeah, now for me, the advantage that I had is that I went through a very tough experience. When I reflect back on what I had gone through, having got to where I was, few things shake me, even to this day. The experience that I went through gave me a very firm reference point for what it means to go through a tough time. Because sometimes you see people stressing out about what they think they're going through a hard time. And I'm not undermining anyone's experience. But for me, when I realize, like sometimes when I think about the challenges I have to deal with at work, and I remember having been in a migration procedure for 2 years, and I remember being in detention for 10 months, I'm like, this is a joke. Let's play. So in a lot of ways, what I want us to realize is that sometimes when you have not taken stock of where you have been, you cannot use it to your advantage. And we all have been through things that have challenged us. We have been through things that have taught us valuable lessons. But unless we review them and we take the lessons out of those experiences, we cannot use them moving forward. So for me, that's why I really recommend that everyone just does that reflection for themselves. And the best way is to just write, document it. Because when you have it written down, it becomes clear like night and day. So in a lot of ways, just to realize that the challenges have been there. But for me, the whole thing is, in a way, I look back and I see like I have been guided. That there's help that I got on this journey that I didn't that I didn't realize was coming when it did. But when I look back on the help that the fact that I had that help, that I was able to stand even in the midst of a challenging situation, I mean, I know that things are going to be okay. And for someone who's listening to us, just being in situations with work, just stand up for yourself. There's situations that may require that you speak up. If you notice that something needs to be addressed, don't suffer in silence. Because the fact that we are here, sometimes truth be told, there's things that's like systematic racism. But don't suffer in silence. If you feel that something is happening and the work that you're doing is not being given the value and the attention it deserves, I mean, if you are doing the work, don't go and say that they're discriminating you when you're not doing what you're supposed to do.
Yes, Kenneth. Any contrasting experiences between what your workspaces in Netherlands and your previous workspaces in Uganda?
Yes. So most definitely. I mean, there's more certainty, there's more structure. I like the fact that when my manager says A, I like to believe that what they mean is actually A. And that's how I see it. But when I remember back on my experience in Uganda, I worked with some people, I think they just, today they say this, and then tomorrow it's something else. And I'm like, but we agreed. We agreed. I mean, I worked with someone for example, a sales manager for a construction company for a period in Uganda. And we agreed on how I was supposed to be paid. He said, the way you're doing your work, I'm not going to be giving you a salary, but I'll give you a 10% commission. And I was like, okay, I'll take that. So I arranged and I got a contract from KCCA. And they just bought everything that he was because he was making pavers, all sorts of things that were being used for construction. So through my network, I was able to connect with someone in KCCA who just literally bought all the stock that they have made and they were going to make. And then when this guy saw what he was supposed to pay me for 10%, he was like, no.
Probably when you guys were striking the deal, in his mind, in as much as you agreed on 10%, in his mind he had a fixed figure.
Exactly.
Because percentages are relative.
I'm telling you, if he paid me 1%, he gave me 1%. And I was like, and that's just one experience. And just to realize that sometimes, it's just, there's a lot to be said about where our beautiful country is. It's the country we love. But there's someone I was having a conversation with sometime, and they said, I was raised. This is how they told it to me. They said, I was raised by corruption. They said, I was educated by corruption. And now I'm in a government office. What do you expect me to do? And I was like, oh my goodness, this is sad.
Sad, but like you said that you embrace honesty. I think he was just honest.
Yeah, exactly. But and exactly that's what it is. That it's sad, but not in a way just to realize that this is just where the reality of things is. Because I mean, corruption is a real problem back home. It's a real problem. Almost at all levels. Yeah. And then that aside, sometimes we get to situations with, I mean, the real challenge of, for example, unemployment. There's people who are unemployed, but they're also unemployable.
Mm.
You get the difference?
I really get it. I hope you don't sound what is that word in English? But I think sarcasm. Okay, okudu.
No,
Okay, yes, okudura. I hope that
no,
someone doesn't
no,
perceive you as being sarcastic.
no. I'm telling you, no.
No, no,
It's
open up that.
yeah. The way that I mean this, it's that someone is unemployed, but they're also unemployable in the sense that you ask someone, okay, what do you? They say, yeah, I have a bachelor's degree, and then you ask them, yeah, what are you doing right now? You say, yeah, things are tough. I don't know what to do, and then you ask them, okay, can you send me your CV? And they say, I don't have it. Can you make it for me? And I'm like, a university graduate looking for a job doesn't have a CV. And literally, they're asking, can you make it for me? You understand? They're not willing, someone not willing to participate in their own rescue.
Yeah, they might be really willing to participate, but
No,
maybe the channel to acquiring that degree might
yeah,
have been shoddy in a way, and maybe you can't blame it on them. So it goes back.
exactly.
But Kenneth, exactly in that line, you both work as okay, away from the paid work, but you also work as the PR. You've got the Ugandan community in Netherlands.
Yeah,
As well, you're one of the directors of the Uganda Netherlands Business Convention.
yeah,
So, what I've understood is that the Uganda Netherlands Business Convention is a business bridge between Uganda and Netherlands, precisely saying.
yes,
Okay, now your role as a PR, I believe, among other things, is to shine out that Uganda, okay, PR for the community, you're shining out the Ugandan community to both the native Dutch, but also to the whole world. But also, you also have this grounded, is it negativity? I don't know how to brand it, but there are these negative sentiments you have about Uganda and how things are running, which
yeah,
you don't agree with.
yeah,
The same person is standing as a PR who has to shine out Uganda, because
yeah,
Uganda, you have to bridge both Uganda and Netherlands.
yeah,
So that dilemma, how do you manage through? Because you want to be honest, to speak
yeah,
out of or about the dirty stuff that is
yeah.
happening in Uganda, but also you have to interest business people from Netherlands to invest in Uganda. How do you balance the both?
I think when you say the truth, you don't have to remember anything.
Okay,
So,
but you're
if
losing business.
no, I mean, at the end of the day, I would rather I
Mm,
deal with someone from a point of honesty that they know, okay, this is the reality of the situation. For example, when we are talking about promoting Uganda as an investment destination, one of the things that we have received as communication from government is that there's cheap labor.
mm.
We can have a whole session of like 5 hours about that. But I mean I have my opinions about it.
Okay, we take them after after your
And
response. But I would also love to hear those opinions.
indeed, but just to
Mm,
realize that there is an opportunity that we have. When I think about when I'm out of Uganda, whether when I'm thinking about the fact that I'm outside of Uganda, whether I like it or not, I am an ambassador of Uganda. I'll give you an example in my office. here in the Netherlands, I think we're right now about 6,000. But there's about like 4 other Ugandans. And so when I talk about Uganda, what I tell my colleagues about Uganda, they will take for the truth. Because they believe that I know Uganda like they don't. Because I am Ugandan. And I think this is true for all of us. And there are challenges, yes. But within the challenges is the opportunity. And I think this is what we sometimes miss or don't realize, that yes, we may not be where we want to be as a country, but that starting from where we are, if we are intentional about doing certain things and certain actions, we can get to where we would like to be. And personally, I am optimistic about the future of this nation. I know that things are going to be different. I know that we ourselves have to be part of the change that we desire to see in Uganda. That each and every one of us has a part to play. And for me, some of the things that really concern me, youth unemployment, that really speaks to me on a deep level. And that is why when I talk about it, I don't talk about it from the perspective of just talking about it, but the perspective from which I bring it is that we have to be part of creating the solution. And so even in all of this, when I have an interaction, even with the young people, sometimes someone reaches out on social media. They're like, yeah, can you help me? I need this or that. And for me, more than anything, I really want to understand, where are you mentally? Because if we don't take care of the mindset situation, if someone, if you give someone a fish, you feed
Kenneth,
for a day.
just to interject a bit.
Yeah.
I love it very, very much that you want to be part of the solution.
Yeah.
But I need to know how you balance you being very honest
Yeah.
while speaking to the Dutch about the dirty linen
Yeah.
of your country. But again, you want to interest them to invest in Uganda, because your role is a PR.
Yeah.
So how do you balance that both?
So I talk about the opportunities.
Yeah.
In the sense that when you are presenting, for example, when we talk about real estate or infrastructure, the opportunity for someone to be part of solving an infrastructural problem is the fact that there is a need for it.
Mm.
So, for example, if I tell you that, hey, Uganda has the best roads, the infrastructure is the best, I mean, then there's no opportunity for you in that. If actually what you want to do is go and make roads in Uganda.
Mm.
But if I tell you, hey, there's progress we have made as a country, but there's actually also there's still some work to be done in some areas, because as a developing nation, we still have a long way to go. Not without challenge, but that there is things that can be done. And I present it from that perspective.
Mm.
You highlight the opportunity, because every problem has an opportunity in it, and every opportunity has a problem with it. And it depends on your mindset, what you're going to focus on. Because if you look at a situation and you focus on just the fact that there's a problem, then there's nothing that's going to be done about it. But if you look at something and then you say, okay, this is where we are, but how can we change it? How can we fix it? What's the opportunity here? And then all of a sudden the conversation changes. It shifts from looking at the problem to actually seeing the opportunity which is presenting the solution. And I think that is the best way for us to be able to promote Uganda.
I love your approach, because I also know that many of us Ugandans in the diaspora, there is so much to share about Uganda, but unfortunately, on our list, the uncomfortable, the negatives take the most space. But I also understand that people are speaking sentimentally, people are having experiences that when you advise them otherwise, you're only healing, opening healing wounds. But I feel that yours, I think, balance is in a way that you retain your honesty, but also grab an opportunity of shining out that has been done well. Any challenges, particular challenges you've encountered as one trying to promote Uganda in Netherlands?
That's a good question. There's several. There's people who feel that I shouldn't be promoting Uganda, for example. And as tragic and as sad as this is, sometimes some of them are not even
People.
Yes.
People, Ugandans, Dutch.
Some are not even Ugandans, but they feel I shouldn't be promoting Uganda. Some are Ugandans, some are non-Ugandans. But that is just where things are. And to just realize that, for me, I give it to them, because people don't respond from what the situation is, but people respond from where they are. Yeah? People don't respond from what the situation is. People respond from where they are.
Meaning?
So if someone is, let me just bring it home a bit. If you've had a breakup, if you've had a fight with your wife, yeah, and something happens, and then you just having a very bad day, and then someone asks you a question about Uganda that day, it's likely that whatever you're going to say about Uganda is not going to be good. Not because that everything is happening in Uganda is bad, but just because where you are, you're just hurting. Yeah? And the truth of the matter is this: hurting people like to hurt people. So sometimes we have not taken the time to do the work on ourselves. We are in a place, we have an opportunity to actually do some things. But it's more than anything else, doing the work, we are busy pointing fingers. We say, it's because of your fault, and your fault, and your fault, and your fault. But then you have 3 other fingers pointing back at you. And I think in a lot of ways that we just have to get to that place and realize that we have a part to play. That we have a part to play.
Yes, I also would love to know which part is that you want us to play. But before that, that section of people who feel it not right for you to shine out Uganda, what are their reasons?
They want me to talk about what they want me to talk about.
And that is?
What is wrong in Uganda.
Hey.
And I respect them. But if every one of us is talking about what's wrong in Uganda, because I don't tell them not to talk about what's wrong in Uganda, but they feel like I shouldn't talk about what's right in Uganda. But we can all not be talking about what's wrong, because what's wrong is not the only thing going on in Uganda. Even a spoiled clock is correct twice a day. If a clock got spoiled at 12:30, it will be correct at midnight, 12:30, and it will be correct in the afternoon, 12:30. And yet it's spoiled. Twice a day, it's correct. Is it possible that for a country such as Uganda, that there's nothing good about it? I disagree. And focus is power, because where your focus goes, there your energy flows and results show. So if I make an intentional effort to promote the good in Uganda, it's likely that I will see more good things to promote in Uganda. If you make an effort to highlight what's wrong in Uganda, it's likely that you're going to see more things that are wrong in Uganda. And that's all right.
I can feel you, Kenneth. Yes, there are those comments and videos swinging around on social media. And yes, it's well understood and perceived that these views and opinions are aired out with passion to make sure that the point reaches home. But from your seat as a PR and also director, Bridge, you're the Bridge, Uganda Netherlands Bridge, how have you managed to maneuver through and keep on track?
So I think we mentioned this last time. You just focus on the opportunity. You focus on the opportunity, because if you people have opinions, and I give it to them. But having the right to an opinion does not make one's opinion right. So for me, there are things that I see and I'm like, okay, that's it. No response, no comment. Because I realize that if I'm responding to that, then I'm moving away from what I'm actually supposed to be focusing on. So focus on the opportunities.
Yes, Kenneth. Yes, and I know the beauty with such platforms is that we speak, or people speak, and the onus is on the receiver to sieve and distill what they want to take, as opposed to going into somebody's inbox.
Yeah.
Because then you'll be trying to force your opinion on someone. So I hope a viewer out there will find something to take home from these submissions. But otherwise, I want to thank you all, you watching us out there. Again, I remind you to subscribe on our channels, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. And also, forget not to share on this link for a friend out there. Might be an immigrant or someone planning to join one of these countries. There is so much that has been spoken in this session, and also the previous one. Before we leave this Uganda Netherlands Business Convention, last time hinted on the already planned dates for the next session.
Yeah.
Take me through again on those particular dates and the procedure for someone to be part. But also remember that there was a waiver for, I think, Ugandans in the diaspora. Also hint on that. Those cohorts. Before we wind up.
Thank you so much. So with the way the Uganda Netherlands Business Convention has been organized, it's a week-long program. And we start, the dates for next year, it's from the 25th, which is Monday, 25th of August, right up to the 30th or the 31st of September, which is, 31st of August, sorry. So from the 25th of August to the 31st of August, that whole week is Convention Week. And we start with guests arriving from Uganda or elsewhere who'll be joining us. with Monday and then Tuesday. And then we begin on Tuesday with sightseeing. Some people who would like to do some shopping have an opportunity to do that on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we go into the field. And Thursday, we go to field trips. Last year, we did 10 field trips. We went to 10 different companies. And we arrange it in a way that the people or the delegates that come from Uganda have a full experience. That we just don't bring them and sit them in a conference room in a hotel to just talk. We could have done that online. But we arrange that they come and see something and have an experience like they've not had before, that they go into these factories and they see what's being done. The last convention, there was just feedback that we received. We went to a factory that milks cow milk, and they pack each cow milk separate. Like he has over 100 cows, but each cow's milk is packaged and processed separately, each milking ton. So when they milk cow number 555, they process that milk separately and they package it separately with the specific description of the nutrients, quality level, and all of this. And it really sparked some good comments as far as the delegates that were here. And they were like, they've never seen anything like that. And we finished the field trips on the 27th, and then we have, the 28th, and then Friday, the 29th, we have a conference. So 27, 28, we're in the field, and then 29th, we have a conference. And this conference is open to all diaspora communities. If you are in Norway, if you're in Finland, if you're in Sweden, wherever you watch, even the United States, if you would like to come to Amsterdam, free entrance, you can come and be part of the conference. If you would like to join the field trips, there's also an arrangement there. You can reach out and request for more information, and we can put you in charge of the team that is managing the facility, the logistics, and it can be arranged that you can also be part of the field trips if you would like. But registration is already ongoing for people who are in Uganda, because they're the ones that we give priority to, because they need extra support in getting their visas, in preparing for the trip, because they have to really put in a lot. So we give them priority. And then when we have concluded with taking care of the Uganda delegation, we roll out the links for the diaspora registration. And then that registration, once it's done, just to be able to prepare name tags, seating, and all of that, we require that people register so that we know who we are preparing for. And once they come, then we will be able to take care of them. And then once we've finished with the convention on the 29th, on the 30th of August, we have Uganda Day, which is when we bring the delegates from the convention to the community, that we get to have a day full of Ugandan fun and experience. There's fun games, there's barbecue, there's entertainment in the evening, and all sorts of things. But most importantly, networking, matchmaking, and all of that. And then on the 31st, we send off our delegates, and people get back to, the people that have to travel back to Uganda will be leaving, and then the people that will be traveling back to their homes, either from other diaspora countries, will also be leaving then. So if you are in Uganda and this interests you and you would like to find out more, I would advise you go to www.unbc.nl. So that is www.unbc.nl. That is the Uganda Netherlands Business Convention official website. And you will get all the information that you need. And if you prefer to just speak to someone physically, our numbers are on the website, but also you can go to Nkuruma Road if you're in Kampala, Post Bank, the branch, the Nkuruma Road branch and Post Bank, and you go to the diaspora desk. If you say you're there to register for the convention, we have a contact person there who we have given all the information that you need. And once you have registered, they will give you a receipt, which they will also send to us for us to start your registration process. And you may be contacted to give more information about you so that we can prepare for you in the best way possible. And then when you are ready, you'll be applying for your visa. And we look forward to seeing you in Amsterdam.
Thank you, Kenneth. Kenneth, are you okay? I'm sure, with no doubt, you're not paid to work as the PR, Uganda Netherlands Community. Of course, speaking from experience here, no way. But are you paid for the work you do in UNBC, the convention venture?
Most of what we are doing right now is still building. So the focus is not about payment. And I think this is where sometimes we miss it. When you are doing something that is bigger than you, sometimes it has to be more than just about money. And I think in a lot of ways, that's why it was helpful to have our own, because all the people who are working on this team are fully employed. They're in professional careers. There's a physician oncologist, there's a manager top level, and then there's some of the people who are doing some of the big things. So it's not so much about money as much as it's about impact. And this, I think, leans back into legacy and being intentional with the kind of work that we are doing as far as where we are is concerned. And maybe we'll get an opportunity to talk about that. But to realize that sometimes it's not so much about what you're getting as much as it's about what you're giving. And I think that's where the challenge comes in.
Thank you. Well, okay, what I understand is both your role as the PRR, Netherlands Community, Uganda Netherlands Community, and directors, Uganda Netherlands Business Convention, it's entirely voluntary.
Yeah.
But with no, I mean, without asking for details, I'm sure you invest a lot of time and somewhere you even invest your money.
Yeah.
But my question is, what keeps you going?
That's a good question. There's a time that my physical presence will no longer be in the Netherlands. But when I think about that, I just want that whenever that will be, that people know that there was someone called Kenneth here. And this is part of the work that he did. Sometimes when we think about ourselves just in terms of what do I gain out of this, I think it's too shallow. It's we deprive ourselves. We have an opportunity to be part of being part of the change we want to see, if I could say it like that. And it's going to take some intentionality. It's going to take some willingness to make some sacrifices. In a lot of ways, also getting uncomfortable. Because what happens is that we really like being in the comfort zone. And what I've understood is that if you stay there in the place of the comfort zone, nothing happens there. There's no growth, there's no progress, there's no happiness. The only thing that is in the comfort zone is survival. So if you're not stretching, if you're not challenging yourself, if you're not part of something that is bigger than you, you're missing out. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're in Norway, maybe there's an opportunity for you to actually connect with what is happening. I know Moses Mugisha is about doing some things and making an impact. And I think it's important that we get to that place and realize that life is not just about us.
Yes, Ken. You see, while asking these questions, I know I might be asking for myself, but I'm also asking for hundreds of Ugandans who have chosen this path, who have chosen to dedicate their time or general resources to seeing things happen. But what is beyond their control is the challenges that they face. There are those that we can pedal past, but again, there are many that are way beyond what we can contain.
Yeah.
Speaking to someone in voluntary service in Norway, in India, North Carolina, Paris, because you being having two courts in charity work, from experience, I know that's almost a third of your time.
Yeah.
Some nuggets of knowledge or a pep talk to someone that should help them carry on despite the challenges.
Yeah, sometimes we get into the trap of believing that we have nothing to give, that we have nothing to offer. That's a lie. Each and every one of us has something that they bring to the table. And this is to you who's watching me. If what I want you to realize is, if they don't have you, they miss what you bring to the table. If you are not there, they miss what you bring to the table. But also, I want you to flip this on its head and realize that if you have something to offer and you don't offer it, you're not just lagging yourself behind, but you're lagging everyone else behind. Because when one person wins, we all win. So be encouraged and realize that sometimes the things that we do may require sacrifices, may require dedication, and even investing your own personal resources. And you're like, yeah, they don't appreciate me. They don't see me for my value. What I want you to realize is that we are always in this process of auditioning for our next opportunity. We are always in this process of auditioning for our next opportunity. You don't know who is watching. You don't know. Even on a broadcast like this, we have no idea where it's going to go. Yeah? But we have offered this time without requesting any compensation for it, because we know that it is worth doing. And it could be that you are just one connection away from your connecting with your next big opportunity. Sometimes we are looking for answers or breakthroughs. I'm a believer in God, and I've understood that God works through men. That God works through men. There's a scripture that says, be in the habit of entertaining strangers, because some have entertained angels unknowingly. So when we are talking about doing what we do, you just show up and do the work. Show up, do the work. I'll give you an example. There's a couple of years back, we received an email, and they said, someone said, I need to talk to you. And we were like, what about? He introduced himself. He said he was from the Uganda EU Business Forum. Yeah? Country director. He's employed by the European Union, and he was on an assignment in Uganda. And part of his assignment was to organize the second edition of the Uganda EU Business Forum. This is a couple of years back. 2022, if I'm not mistaken. And he reached out and he said, you are here, you're doing all this work, and the European Union sees what you're doing. And I was like, what? They never said anything. I mean, every now and then ministers would come into the convention, they sit in the back and they just take notes and do what they do, and then they go away. But this guy is like, you are here, you're doing this, and you think you are not being seen, but I want to let you know. The guy was from Mauritius originally. He's not even Ugandan. He's not, yeah. So he said he was given an assignment to organize the Uganda EU Business Forum, but part of his assignment was that he had to engage the Ugandan diaspora. And he was like, I am from Mauritius. I don't know anyone from the diaspora. I don't know any Ugandans. And literally, the EU delegation in Uganda gave him our contacts. They said, these people are in the Netherlands and they are part of the Uganda Netherlands Business Convention. Reach out to them. And so the guy came here and he was already surprised. He's like, I thought I was going to meet very old people, but I'm surprised that you... And he
Thank
said,
you so much, Kenneth. Yes, allow me interject in the interest of time, but what I personally take for myself is basically to look at those low-hanging fruits, because the bigger vision might be there, but there are so many low-hanging fruits around us that we need to tackle. And I love those echoes from so much that has happened that you've witnessed and can have a testament to the good deeds and the life beyond you. Time is very, very much against us, and what I think the next time we come back, it won't be your story. It will be about reflecting about a couple of stuff, because I realize that you're just I think you're just a basket of reflections, eh? And I feel good enough we've had the first strides into tapping into who Kenneth is, and at least now we know who to reach out to when we need to open up reflections. We need to open up things that need to be viewed in 3D. I would very much want to know you as a family man.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, time isn't so much on our side. I request you to use a minute to speak to me on who Kenneth is as a family man, not generally, but also understand that you are doing a lot of voluntary work, which work should have been actually paid for.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at your wife shouldering this emotional absence, okay?
Yeah.
Day one, week one, month one, year one, a decade soon. As a family man, how do you balance this both in this life?
So when I think it's important that when you have a partner, that you have a partner who understands you. Because if you're in a relationship with someone who does not understand the kind of person that you are, then there's going to be a challenge with regards to this. I'll give you an example. One of my core values is service. When I think about my core values, one of them is service. I just love giving value. Yeah, whether it's being paid for or it's being free, I love giving value. And my wife understands that. So, and I appreciate that. But then also to realize that sometimes we have to make up time for the time that we take away from the family, to realize that when you, for example, are doing the things that you're doing with the work that you're doing, there has to be a way that that time is made up somehow. whether it's that you are intentional when you, for example, go on a holiday, that you just do that in a more intense and present way, that you can disconnect and just be fully present and you be there. I think it goes a long way in helping that, because at the end of the day, there's people, what people talk about balancing. I understand what you mean about balancing, but sometimes it doesn't balance. The weight of the responsibility is felt. I mean, like what you do, I think you can relate to this, that your family takes a hit for the fact that you do the work that you do for the community. Yeah. And it's not that it's a bad thing, but that's just what it is. But there has to be a way that hit is made up for. And it doesn't even have to be in monetary terms. It could even just be in recognition. That when I was in Norway during the Eurocranes tournament. I saw your daughter singing the national anthem. I saw the engagement. That is powerful. Yeah. So you bring in your family into what you do. And this is how it looks like practically. That you're not just leaving them behind and just letting them be outside of what you're doing. So in a way, it complements, not balance, but it complements each other. Because at the end of the day, when they're talking about the Ugandan community in Norway, your family, if anybody is writing that story and they write that story without the name Moses Mugisha in it, it's incomplete. It's incomplete. Because you have paid the price. Your family has paid the price for it.
Yes, Kenneth. Again, I want to repeat myself that we shall have you more and more on several occasions. Just reflect and open up. Things I love your line of inclination, your line of reflection, and what I take from this was as I speak or as I ask, I'm asking both for myself and any other community leader out there. Yeah. But I've also learned that maybe I better use the word complement. How do these two complement each other as opposed to balance? And what I realize is that we have to make time or make up for the lost time in some sort of way. I'm Smokey John Remy, one of the leaders or executive members on the Euro Forum, but also a host. He's already inspired by your warm reflections, and he's already formally asking that we need to have more episodes of him. That's you. And just one last question, and I'm quoting Smoggy here, Bwana Muyingo, apart from work, and work, how do you spend your leisure time? Do you do any sport? Take that, and as you wind up, give us your parting shots. And on, we shall set off for the new week. Indeed. Yes, Kenneth.
So how do my leisure time, I love running. So that's something that I do about 6 times a week. Some people don't understand, but it's something that I do and it works for me. I've realized that it helps me. I love reading, most personal development books. If I find a good book that really speaks to me, I make time for that, because I realize that knowledge is the new currency of the 21st century, that the information we can use is only the information that we know. If there's something that you need to know and you don't know it, it could be a disadvantage for you. So I take time and invest in knowledge and also service, just working with other people. Just yesterday, we were in Amsterdam at the Uganda House for a meet and mingle event with the Career Advancement Network. I got a lot of good energy from that because it's a new initiative that we have within the community, and it's just about creating opportunities and helping the future generation to position themselves to be able to get into professional employment, and maybe for people who are adults and they're trying to change careers. So I got really good energy from that. For me, it doesn't feel like work. Maybe when you think about it, you say, yeah, but you're still working in that sense. But for me, what I realize is if you do what you love, it doesn't feel like work. For me, part of my leisure, this for me is not work. I'm doing this as part of my leisure. It's a Sunday afternoon. I could just be laying on the couch, but I would rather be doing this because I know it's adding value and it's serving. So that's what I really like to do. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you so much, Kenneth. I want to send a vote of thanks in bold, capital letters, and in italics, but also underlined. To my team, Euroforum team.
Yeah.
Smoggy, John Remy, the gentleman watching us here, residing in Denmark,
Yeah.
one of the hosts and teammates on Euroforum.
Yeah.
Malumu, Irene, Samantha Elf in Finland, Narumu lives in Uganda, Esther Nantong in Uganda, Jerry in Nassali, Sweden, Janat Yahaya Nagolola in Uganda, and Gibson Mhumuza. Together, we make this happen. We are left with 4 Sundays, or rather 4 shows to the end of 2024. We want to thank you all, our dear viewers. You've made this happen and you're still making it. And as we keep echoing out, this is your platform. Our slogan is communicating with peers, and the peers are none other but you. So keep it running, keep it burning, and keep it ablaze. But also remember to give feedbacks. We are open to both the positive and the constructive feedbacks. Our channels are both the chats here, in the videos, all these people I've mentioned here. You can always take in feedback. And also to remind you, those living in Norway and countries around, on the 7th, that will be Saturday, this Saturday, we shall be having our end of year party. This is open to all ages. And it's the theme is creating a space where everyone can feel seen and can have a moment to interact. To look back on the year that has been, a year that has challenged you, but also a year where you have a lot in your basket. It might be unseen, but they are there. You shall bring people like Kenneth to let you see what you have in your basket before the year ends. Kenneth, I'll give you 1 minute. To give us, of all the so many things we've taken through these 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Use 1 minute. Give a nugget that will keep us recalling that session we had with Muyingo Kenneth.
Yeah.
Devil.
Thank you. I think for me, it's be intentional. As Ugandans living in the diaspora, let's be intentional when we are making decisions or choices, whether it's with our children, in light of just giving them the fact that we are from Uganda, that we make sure that that remains alive as far as our connection is concerned with them, with the future generation, or being intentional with your financial planning to realize that the time that you have right now as a young person is what is going to be able to be used in preparing for the time when you're not going to be able to do the things that you are maybe doing right now. And be intentional in making purposeful connections, because it's important that we build meaningful relationships as far as this is concerned, both within our local communities, but also internationally, because we have this opportunity to build not just for ourselves, but also for the generations to come, and also be intentional in your personal development. And here I mean continuously be learning new skills, continuously be embracing new opportunities and working towards long-term goals, whether it's in the fields of entrepreneurship or even professional development. And also be intentional in making family impact. Because supporting family in Uganda for us is not just about sending money, but it's about creating sustainable opportunities for them. It could be that actually you're the one going to start a business that could go on being a family-owned business for your family for the next 100 years. That the knowledge and the resources that you get from where you are could be what is used. So let's be intentional as far as this is concerned. And we live with purpose that is in alignment with our values and the responsibilities that life is calling us to in this season. I thank you so much, Moses, and the entire team of the Euroforum UG for having me. And thank you for the wonderful work you're doing.
Thank you so much, Kenneth, and to you, our beloved viewers. Thank you so much for your time and the warmth you create. When we know that someone out there is watching, it propels us afront. And please keep it running. And remember to share this conversation. Your contribution might be just sharing it on. You don't have to shoulder the burden of being the speaker. Just share it on. It could be your only contribution to make a U-turn in somebody's life. Kenneth Muyingo, thank you so much. And I also want to appreciate you for creating this time, in as much as part of what you've shared here should be actually paid presentation. But I appreciate the fact that you underline that service is in your backbone. And thank you so much. We hope to have more of you in our next sessions. And we see how we can make an impact that we are proud of. Thank you so much. We sign out here for now. And until next Sunday, keep tuned and keep sharing on and keep inspiring and keep the vibe of being responsible for the decisions and the choices you make. Thank you. Moses Mugisha, I sign out.
Well done, Sibu.